Okay, so we have knitted the foot of our sock, and now we need to decrease for the toe. So I have done 33 rows here because I want sock foot to be a little bit longer. So for shaping of the toe, we start, oops, I'm getting in a bit of a tangle here with my yarn. There. We start by knitting 7. Seven, and we're going to knit 2 together, so 2 stitches, needle in, knit 2 together, knit 2, now we're going to slip 1, knit 1 and pass it over, so we slip first stitch, knit, pass your slip stitch over, knit 14, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, knit 2 together again, knit 2, 1, 2, slip 1, knit 1, pass our slip stitch back over, knit 7, and there we go. Now I have 36 stitches on our needle. Now we're going to purl all the way across. Go. Nearly there. Turn again. So do our next row of decrease. Knit 6 this time, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Knit 2 together. Knit 2, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over. Knit 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, knit 2 together, knit 2, slip 1, knit 1, pass your stitch over, knit 6, 5, 6, so we now have 32 stitches, so we decreased 4 in that row, so purl it back across again, socks are going to be lovely and warm. A little bit of wool, a little bit of acrylic for strength. So, purl, purl. purl all the way across, 32 stitches. One, 32, turn again. This is our last decrease row for the toe. So knit 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, knit 2 together, knit 2, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, knit 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, knit 2 together again, knit 2, slip 1, knit 1, pass or slip stitch over, knit 5. We now have 28 stitches on our row, nearly finished. Our first sock. Obviously you need to make 2. So we purl across our 28 stitches. And then we're going to be casting off. Five, 26, 27, 28. Right, now casting off. So we knit 1, knit the next one, pass that first stitch over, knit another one, pass it over, and so on till we've finished all the stitches on our needle. Knitting, pass it over, knit, pass over, knit, pass over, knit, pass over, and we get to the last stitch, knit it, pass that one over, and what I do is cut, leaving a nice long length because you're going to want to sew up your socks. So leave yourself plenty of yarn, snip, and just pull your tail through your last stitch, and just pull it up tight. So there we go. So you can see the shaping that we've done for the toe, and here's our heel shaping. Don't worry about things like this. It does happen sometimes when you're joining in yarn, but all you need to do with that one is take your end that's there, or join on another piece of yarn and just stitch into these 2 stitches here just to close up that little hole. So there we have it. Now I tend to sew up my knitted items first and then sew in the ends, because sometimes when you're sewing up, say like here for example, we could use this end here just to stitch this little bit together. So, right, I'll get my other socks over because I've started to join this one. Now there are two ways of doing this. As it's a sock and we're going to have a seam, we want it to be as flat as we possibly can so that there's no discomfort under your foot. Now this way I've literally turned the socks, I've got right sides together. Now you want to, as you're doing this, which I'm naughty, I haven't done it yet. If you've got a variegated yarn or self-patterning yarn like this, it's quite easy to match up your row ends and just pin. Pin. And so on all the way round. If you're doing it with a yarn that's not so clear on the patterning, what I tend to do is you hold the tops together. You can see where your heel shaping is, so match it all up. You've got your little heel shaping rows here, so match them up, make sure they're together. Again, pin your top and ribbing, same with the toe, and then fluffy bit there. Try and match it row for row if you can, but don't get too stressed about it. So pin, pin, pin all the way. So you do that for the leg and the same for the toe end, the foot. Again, you've got some shaping here, some shaping rows, so if you make sure that they're together like that, put a pin in there, and again where the toe is, pin there. Match up your row ends. You probably want to pin all the way along, I'm just demonstrating. So there we go, so pin it before you sew it is my recommendation. So back to this one. I've done the joining, excuse me, that's cold. I've done the joining two ways on this. So as I said, you want to have a very flat seam, as flat as possible. So when you're doing your joining, you want to do row for row. So try and get your needle in just under the two strands of yarn that are right on the edge of your sock. On the one side, on the other side. Pull it up nice and tight. Again, under two strands, that side, two strands on this side, pull it up nice and tight. Now I'll just take my pins out so I can show you what that looks like from the other side. Now normally if I was doing this for a present or something, with a variegated self-patterning yarn like this, what I would do is each section I would sew it up with that colour. So I've got the remainder of my yarn here. So for example, I would cut off a length of this pale green just to sew this section up. and the same dark green for sewing the heel, etc, etc. This will just make it look a bit neater on the other side. I'll just turn it round so you can see. You can just about see the green showing through there, so I highly recommend that you cut off lengths of yarn if you're doing multicolours or stripes. You may want to do stripes like that. So the other way of joining, which you can do from the right side, again I would use the correct colour yarn. This is another way, a little bit more fiddly, but makes it even flatter than this one, although there's not a huge amount of difference. So you've got your yarn, you've joined your yarn on at the top of the either the toe or the cuff, wherever you start, and you come in from the back. Although you've got your right sides facing you, you come in a bit fiddly. You come in from the back, just catch that very outer stitch there. So don't pull it too tight yet. So you've got that one, and then you want to catch the other side, the other stitch, just the very edge again. Pull it tight. Now you can't see this quite so much with the different colours, so maybe this might be the better one to do if you're using a variegated yarn. It is flatter than the other seam, but not a great deal. Not a great deal. So if you feel happier doing this type of join, go for it, because it will be absolutely fine. Okay, so when we've done all of that, we're then going to do our toe. So I'll just snip a length of yarn off. Oops, that didn't work very well. Oops, you might have a cat invasion in a minute. So for your toe, so you've sewn up your seam. So you want to get it central in the back of your sock. So you've got your seam up the back of the sock, and what you can do now is join your yarn. This is if you want your toe to be flat. So join in your yarn. And again, I'm just going through those two stitches that I can see. So I'm just making sure that's nice and secure in there. And again, you'll be going along your seam, just matching row for row and catching in just your two strands from where you cast off. So two strands on that side and two strands on there. You see you're catching in though, just those tops of those stitches there, and the same on the other side. And you can do what I'm doing, which is just catching your end of your yarn in, save sewing in later. I'm all for that, all for saving a bit of time. So catching your top two strands again, and your two over there, and catch it in. I'll just show you that from the other side. So when you turn your socks the right way out, you'll have a nice flat toe. I'll just show you on the one that's finished. As you can see, I didn't do my stitching very well on this one, don't tell anyone. But I've got a nice flat toe. Like so, and you can see this, the shaping at the sides. But there is another way to do your toe as well. So I will do this one on the one that I've just cast off. thread your yarn on. I'll have to do a couple of little stitches just to secure as if I've done the back seam. So this method, you can go under your top stitches again, just go in and out, all the way around, stitch by stitch. In and out, just underneath your top row of stitches. And in and out, in and out. All the way around. And then you simply pull them up tight and fasten off. So make sure they're lovely and tight there, so you haven't got a hole in your toe. And fasten them off. Nice and tight. So let's take a few pins out of here so I can turn this one round and show you. So then you would have a more gathered toe like that. So imagine this is the top of your sock. Shaping there. If that's easier for you to do it that way, that's absolutely fine. So you can do it so you've either got a nice flat toe like this or the gathered toe. Very, very similar. Okay, now we'll talk a little bit about blocking your socks. Generally, if you're making both these yarns I've used, or this one is pure acrylic, this one has 20%, I think, sorry, 25% wool. But if you were doing a sock that has a lot more natural fibres in, cotton, wool, alpaca, etc., then you would want to block your socks when you wash them the first time so that they keep their shape. Now I've done this morning. I went online and I found a template for a sock blocker. You can buy them from lots of online stores, made out of plastic. Sometimes they're hollow in the middle, sometimes you get wooden ones with little patterns on the top. But just to show you what I've been doing, cover that up. I found a template online and I've made it to fit this sock. So you cut out, I've done it with cardboard. What you can do as well is use these, I use these foam mats for blocking other items. I crochet as well. Lacy things need blocking, and you could just cut it out of this, and then if it gets wet it doesn't matter, and you can do different sizes. As you see on here, you've got child sizes, but if you look online you'll find a template for that. So got your sock blocker, whatever it's made of, whether it be cardboard, metal, plastic, foam, whatever. So you've washed your sock. You see you'll need a pair of these blockers. You wash your sock, you just pop your blocker in and it just keeps it to the correct shape whilst it's drying, and everything will be great. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed making socks with me, and I look forward to seeing pictures of them. Bye.